Good evening and welcome. My name is Gina Castaneda. I'm a Santa Cruz County probation officer, and I am thrilled to share my story with you here tonight. Picture this, a child that is born into a family that there's love, stability, safety, care, and compassion. Well, that wasn't my story. I was born immediately and taken away from my mother and put into foster care. I lived in foster care for a year. As a child, you want to be loved. As a child, you want to be cared for. As a child, you want to get your basic needs met. But this wasn't the case for me. My family was dealing with alcohol and drug addictions. We were homeless all the time. There was no food by the end of the month until we received our food stamps, and that ended very quickly. I was abused physically, emotionally, and verbally every single day of my life. And I was neglected severely. This is my story. I lived daily with hurt and pain in my life. The lowest point of my life was when I was living in a car with my mother and that car got towed. We had no place to go. I remember walking with my mother to the local pancake house and going in and asking the waitress if we could use the restroom. I remember walking in and looking over at the tables and seeing the scraps of food that was left on the tables. I went into the restroom. I got the powdered pink soap, water, and those brown, harsh paper towels and cleaned my body and was on my way. The second day we got to the pancake house, as I walked in, I couldn't resist. My stomach hurt. I was so hungry. As I walked by the tables that had the scraps on it, I reached over and grabbed them, hid them, and when I was in the bathroom, I stuffed my face. I again took the pink powdered soap and the brown paper towels, cleaned my body, and was on my way. On the third day, we walked in and the waitress stopped us and said, "I'm sorry, you can't come in anymore. The customers have complained." We turned around, my mother and I, and at the lowest point of my life, we walked to the back of the restaurant where my mother opened the dumpster and found food for us to eat. See, this was me. I was hurt, I was indifferent, I was isolated, I was neglected, I was vulnerable, and I was neglected and full of pain. When I was in elementary school, I was bullied, made fun of because of my hygiene, because I was homeless. I was called a wetback, I was called dirty, I was called fat, and I was called ugly. During recess and lunchtime, I had no place to go. I looked around campus, and one day I found that there was a door left open during recess and lunch, and I walked in there. There was a nice lady. She had a smile, and she was welcoming. She didn't talk to me, and I felt safe. Well, I continued to go to that room every single day. She was the librarian. After getting to know her a little bit, she would read to me. She never asked me questions. It was just her bright smile that made me feel welcome, and I knew that I could be in a safe space. When I was in high school, I was an all-star athlete, but I had barriers. And my PE teacher had pushed me to the athletic director, and the athletic director had asked me, "I want you to do the sports. What's stopping you?" And I said, "I have no transportation home." What he didn't understand is I had no home to go to. He said, "Well, we can solve the transportation issue." They did an after-school bus. And after the after-school bus, the bus driver would ask all the students as we got in, "Where do you need me to drop you?" Well, after a while, the bus driver understood that I was homeless because I changed my drop-off site every single day. Because every single day I didn't know if I would be meeting my mom in the plaza, the back of Ramsey Park, in the levee, or another place in the city. I remember it was the last day before winter break, and I remember getting into the bus, and the bus driver that day said to me, "Gina, can you be my last drop?" I was always her last drop because I had that safety and the security from the bus and the bus driver. "Yes, I can be your last drop." "Where am I taking you today, Gina?" I said, "The back of Ramsey." I'll never forget, she pulled over the bus. She said, "Can you hold on a second?" She reached behind her seat and she pulled out one of those old Kmart Christmas stockings that was plastic on the back and mesh in the front. And there was a slit in the top where she had put in a toothbrush and toothpaste and a brush and other hygiene for me, some fruit and some candy. I remember being so excited to go back to school and thanking her, because what she did not know was that was the only Christmas present I would receive that year. And not only that, that was the only Christmas present that I had received in the last 3 years. My question for you today is, can you be that librarian? Can you be that bus driver? Can you be that PE teacher? Can you be the athletic director, that school counselor, or that friend? Can you be the person that walks around and smiles because with one gesture, you can change the lives of so many people? Have you ever driven in your car and looked to the right or to the left? I have. Throughout my life, I've had troubles and I've had hurt and pain. But when I drive, I look to the right and to the left, and I know that there are other people out there that are in more need, that have just as much pain, that might be homeless or hurt or in pain or hungry. Today, because of that, those people in my life, I am a wife, a mother, a sister, an aunt, a deputy probation officer, a coach, a mentor. I am the founder of the Aztecas Soccer Program. I am a trailblazer. I am driven every day because of my hurt and my pain, but because of that, it brings me so much compassion. A kind gesture can reach a wound that only compassion can heal. I ask when you leave today, whether it be that smile, if you have a few dollars you can donate, if you have time that you can volunteer, and maybe it's not for the biggest program or a small program, maybe it's for your inner circle, maybe it's for the child next door that needs your guidance, your mentorship, your help. Can you coach? Can you lead? But don't leave this room without doing something, with all compassion and respect. I know I am not done. Join me in my journey. Push forward. Don't accept and thrive.